Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we proceed with the reference of business and that request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measures on first reading as well as communications and resolutions. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The Secretary General is so directed.
Additional reference of business. Bills on first readings. House Bill number 5762, providing for the modernization of the Department of Science and Technology. Representative Romero.
To the Committee on Science and Technology.
House Bill number 5763, providing for modernization funding to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology. Representative Romero.
To the Committee on Science and Technology.
House Bill number 5764, providing for additional modernization funding to the Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical, and Astronomical Service Administration. Representative Romero.
To the Committee on Science and Technology.
House Bill number 5765, establishing a field office of the Commission on Higher Education in Batac City, Ilocos Norte. Representative Barba.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 5766, converting the Pasig LTO Extension Office into a regular district office. Representative Biron.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill number 5767, strengthening further the Comprehensive Agrarian Reform Program. Representative Roman.
To the Committee on Agrarian Reform.
House Bill number 5768, instituting the Magna Carta of Daycare Workers. Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill number 5769, mandating the compulsory teaching of ethnic subjects in Philippine tertiary education. Representative Mariano Hernandez.
To the Committee on Higher and Technical Education.
House Bill number 5770, declaring the year 2020 as National Go Tourism Year in the entire country. Representative Goreseta.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 5771, providing for the conversion of the provincial roads from Dumolog, Sugod to Borobon and Tabogon to Barangay Dagit, Bago City, Cebu in the 5th and 4th District of the Province of Cebu into national roads. Representative Salimbangon and Frasco.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highway.
House Bill numbers 5772 and 5773, banning the manufacture, importation, sale, and use of single-use plastic products nationwide. Representative Talyado and Abante.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill number 5774, separating the city of General Santos from the 1st Legislative District of the province of South Cotabato to constitute the lone legislative district of General Santos City. Representative Banyas Nograles.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill number 5775, providing for the 2-day special emergency leave for all workers in public and private sector directly affected by natural calamities or disasters. Representative Salceda.
To the Committee on Civil Service and Professional Regulation and the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill number 5776, enabling the people's constitutional right to access to information. Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Public Information.
House Bill number 5778, strengthening the Games and Amusement Board. Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Games and Amusement.
House Bill number 5779, declaring the National Shrine of Mary, Help of Christians, located in Barangay Don Bosco, Parañaque City, a tourist destination. Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill number 5780, declaring the time between 10 in the evening and 5 in the morning as unsafe hours, prohibiting loitering, roaming around, sleeping, or mandering of children in public places during these hours. Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
Resolutions. House Resolution 595, honoring and commending the heroism and bravery of Police Senior Master Sergeant Jason Magno, who sacrificed his life while in the line of duty to save the lives of innocent individuals, living up to his sworn duty to serve and protect the community. Representative Unabia and Uy Juliet.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
Messages from the Senate. Message dated December 9, 2019, informing the House that the Senate on even date passed SB number 643.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Message dated December 9, 2019, informing the House that the Senate on even date passed SB number 1077.
to the Committee on Government Reorganization,
Message dated December 9, 2019, informing the House that the Senate on even date passed Senate Bill number 1155.
to the Committee on Public Order and Safety,
Communications, letter dated 26 November 2019 of Wendell E. Avisado, Secretary, DBM, transmitting the consolidated ASSODB of the national government agencies as of the quarter ending September 30, 2019.
to the Committee on Appropriation,
Committee report. Reports number 131 of the Committee on Information and Communications and Technology on House Bill number 5793.
to the Committee on Rules,
Reports number 132 to 136 of the Committee on Cooperatives and Development on House Bill numbers 423 to 425, 510, and House Bill number 5422.
to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session for a few minutes.
Session suspended.
Sasama na po ako. May basket na.
Muslim.
Ano tayo? Ah, okay. Ano? Marami pang gagawin yan. Ah. Ay, ano?
Si Archie.
Hello, word. Baka omnibus na lang.
Ang bordado mo.
Ayun, 40 years. So, hindi na. So, tataas mo sa That kasi
Arnie.
Siya ang mag-greet. Oh, sige. Kayo naman ito.
Nagpa-warding kami.
Sige, punta ako. Buti pinalala.
Uy, hindi ko naman amoy ano.
May mga proxy na dito. Pero, pagbigay ko ng senyas nito.
Dennis.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the awardees for the search for
Session issue.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the session be resumed.
Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the awardees for the Search for Outstanding Volunteers 2019. We recognize the guests of Speaker Alan Peter Cayetano and Congresswoman Rida Robes of Dome District of San Jose del Monte City. Dr. Romulo G. Davide, the awardee for the Volunteer Lifetime Achievement Award category of Los Baños, Laguna, under Congresswoman Ruth Mariano Hernandez of the 2nd District of Laguna.
Please stand to be recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Ms. Aliyah B. Adam, the awardee of Individual Youth Category, Maging Lanao del Sur, under Congressman Ansaruddin Abdul Malik Adyong, 1st District of the Lanao del Sur. Dr. Sasa May T. Meneses, Individual Adult Category from Tuguegarao City, Cagayan, under Congressman Jojo Lara of the 3rd District of Cagayan. Mr. Joel S. De La Costa, the awardee again for the Individual Adult Category from Tanawan City, Batangas, under Congresswoman Maria Teresa Collantes of the 3rd District of Batangas. Engineer Cristeta G. Galliano of the Individual Adult Category again from Barangay Catalunan Grande, Davao City, under Congressman Paulo Z. Duterte, 1st District of Davao City. Sir Optimist International of Mandaluyong, the awardee for organization not-for-profit category from Mandaluyong City, under Congressman Neptali M. Gonzalez II from the Lone District of Mandaluyong City. Barangay Poblacion, Burgos, Ilocos Norte, the recipient of the Special Award for LGU category from Burgos, Ilocos Norte, under Congresswoman Ria G. Farinas, 1st District of Ilocos Norte. The Municipality of La Trinidad, Benguet, the recipient of Special Award for LGU category from La Trinidad, Benguet, under Congressman Nestor Fong Juan from the Lone District of Benguet. The City Government of Mandaluyong as recipient of the Special Award for LGU category from Mandaluyong City under Congressman Neptali Gonzalez II from the Lone District of Mandaluyong City. And finally, Mr. Speaker, from the University of La Salette Incorporated High School, recipient of organization not-for-profit category from Santiago City, Isabela, under Congresswoman Sheena Tan, 4th District of Isabela. We have with us Ms. Priscilla Ilagan, PhD, Ms. Griselda Domingo, Mr. Bernard Joseph Ariola, Mr. James Alcantara, Mr. Bark Banayat, Ms. Berlin Balot, Mr. Darwin Graganta, Ms. Arlene Jane Alvarez and her better half, Mr. Shopao Reyes, Mr. Joey Cortez, Ms. Alisa Alvarez, Ms. Rhea Berdadero, and Mr. John Paul Cristobal.
To the awardees, congratulations. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we also recognize the guest of Honorable Alfred C. De Los Santos, representative of Ang Provinciano Party List. We have with us here Mr. Carl Biorvang and Mrs. Richelle Biorvang. We welcome them to the floor, Mr. Speaker.
Please stand to be recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to suspend the session.
Session suspended.
May lunch ako bukas.
Bibi!
Session resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Resolution number 565 under Committee Report number 117 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the said measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 565. House Resolution 565.
House Resolution 565, resolution adopting the Sustainable Development Goals as a framework for legislative measures to be crafted and enacted by the 18th Congress.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt House Resolution number 565 under Committee Report number 117. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill number 5673 under Committee Report number 113 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 5673.
House Bill number 5673, an act authorizing the Department of Health to set and approve the bed capacity and service capability of all DOH retained hospitals.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to sponsor the measure, I move that we recognize the Honorable Elpidio Barsaga of the 4th District of Cavite. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Representative Elpidio Barsaga is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Committee on Health, it is my distinct honor to sponsor the approval of committee report pertaining to various House bills, numbers 1365, 1492, 1502, 1902, 2004, 3002, and 4651. And I would like to have the explanatory note in all these bills to be my sponsorship speech. In addition, Mr. Speaker and my dear colleagues, this bill allows the Department of Health to determine the increase in bed capacity and improve its service capability. Under the present setup, before the Department of Health can increase the bed capacity of any government hospital, it is necessary that there must be a corresponding legislation approved by the House, approved by the Senate, and approved also by the President. And based on the statistics in 2017, out of 1,161 licensed hospitals, 405 belong to the government. And based on the hospital bed ratio, the actual bed ratio in 2017 is 1 for every 1,142 patients. And although the national target is only 80 to 85% occupancy, the actual occupancy rate is 121%. And because of this situation, the Department of Health cannot increase the bed capacity of any government hospital until and unless there is the corresponding legislation. And this situation is the one being sought to be remedied by these bills, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, we join the honorable author and request that the explanatory note be made as the sponsorship speech.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no members who wishes to interpolate on the sponsor, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no individual members who wishes to introduce amendments and there being no committee amendments, I move that we close the period of amendments.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5673 under Committee Report number 113. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Those who are in favor of House Bill 5673 say aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. House Bill 5673 is hereby approved on second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session.
Session suspended. Session resume. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of the honorable members. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is directed to call the roll.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives. Abante. Abaya. Abellanosa. Abu. Abueg Zaldivar. Abunda. Akop. Acosta. Acosta Alba. Adyong. Advincula. Agabas. Agaraw. Aglipay. Aguinaldo. Albano. Almario. Alonte. Alvarez Franz. Alvarez Genaro. Alvarez Pantaleon. Amante Matba. Amatong. Andaya. Angara. Aragones. Arbison. Arenas. Arroyo. Atienza. Mentado. Babasa. Bagat Singh. Balindong. Banyas Nograles. Barba. Barbers. Baronda. Barzaga. Bascug. Bautista. Bautista Bendigan. Belmonte. Benitez. Bernos. Yason. Billones. Biron. Bolilla. Bondok. Bordado. Bravo. Rosas. Bulot. Bustos. Kabatbat. Kabochan. Cabredo. Cagas. Calderon. Calixto. Caminero. Campos. Kanama. Kawagdan. Cari. Castelo. Castro Franz. Castro Fredinil. Cayetano Alan Peter Compañero. Cayetano Mariela Arni. Celeste. Chato. Chipeco. Chungalao. Co Angelica. Co Elizaldi. Coanco. Colyantes. Crisologo. Cua. Cuaresma. Cueva. Culyamat. Dagook. Dalipe. Dalog. Datol. Daza. De Jesus. De Venecia. Defensor Lawrence. Defensor Michael. Del Mar. De Los Santos. Del Loso Montalya. De Maporo Abdullah. De Maporo Muhammad Khalid. Duavit. Duhali. Duterte. D. Faustino Ino. D. Faustino Michael III. D. Ian Paul. Ebcas. Ecleo. Elago. Enverga. Erice. Erigel. Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas Ria, Fariñas Rudy Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Fer Juliet, Fer Luis, Flores, Fong Juan, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia Jose Enrique, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasetaya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Carlo, Go Rosetta, Gico, Gullias, Guya, Aresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Alusos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Kong Hun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lacetin, Diachon, Legarda, Lim, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Losotan, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Padrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Magunda Dato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Marino, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Núñez Malañaon, Guaminal, Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Uwano Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Himbo, Radaza, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Sibulia, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmiento, Saulug, Savillano, Xiao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuwat, Sonsing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Si Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Tambut, Tejada, Teves Arnulfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Tutor, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungab, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villafuerte, Villanueva Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villaras Suarez, Villarica, Yolago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikorat, Zarate, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 208 members responded to the call.
With 208 members present, the chair declares a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we recognize the guests of Honorable Representative Bayani F. Fernando of the 1st District of Marikina. The guests are comprised of students, teachers, and parents from the Marikina Science High School Grade 9 Class Reliability headed by Mrs. Emelinda Molina, Mrs. Jean Haralbe, and Miss Rafaela Gupit.
May the guest of Honorable Bayani Fernando please stand to be recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives.
Mr. Speaker, may we also recognize the guests of Honorable Jose L. Atienza Jr., representative of Buhay Party List. We have with us here the officers of the Sangguniang Members of Barangays League of the Philippines, led by their founding chairman and President Kagawad Nelvin Blaza of the 6th District of Manila.
May the guest of Honorable Jose Atienza please stand to be recognized. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we consider House Bill number 5509 and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 5509.
House Bill number 5509, an act lowering the optional retirement age of government workers from 60 years to 56 years, amending for the purpose Section 13A of Republic Act 8291, otherwise known as the Government Service Insurance System Act of 1997. Roll call of members in consideration of House Bill number 5509.
Sige. Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on third reading House Bill number 5509 and request that the Secretary General call the roll for nominal voting. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 5509 and conduct nominal voting.
House Bill number 5509, an act lowering the optional retirement age of government workers from 60 years to 56 years, amending for the purpose Section 13A of Republic Act number 8291, otherwise known as the Government Service Insurance System Act of 1997. Roll call of members in consideration of House Bill 5509. Abante, Abaya, Abellanosa, Abu Exaldivar, Abunda, Ako, Acosta, Acosta Alba, Jong, Vincula, Gabas, Agaraw, Aglipay, Ginaldo, Albano, Almario, Alonte, Alvarez Franz, Alvarez Senaro, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante Matba, Amatong, Andaya, Angara, Aragones, Arbison, Arenas, Arroyo, Atienza, Aumentado, Babasa, Pagatsing, Balindong, Banyes Nograles, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Berzaga, Pascug, Bautista, Bautista Bendigan, Belmonte, Benitez, Bernos, Biason, Billones, Biron, Bolilla, Bondok, Bordado, Bravo, Brosas, Bulot, Bustos, Kabatbat, Cabochan, Cabredo, Cagas, Calderon, Calixto, Caminero, Campos, Canama, Kawagdan, Cari, Castelo, Castro Franz, Castro Fedenil, Cayetano Alan Peter, Cayetano Maria Laarni, Celeste, Chato, Chipeco, Chungalao, Co Angelica, Co Elizalde, Co Wangco, Collantes, Crucologo, Cuba, Cuaresma, Cueva, Colyama, Tagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Datol, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor Lawrence, Defensor Michael, Del Mar, De Los Santos, De Los Montalia, De Maporo Abdullah, De Maporo Muhammad Khalid, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael III, D. Ian Paul, Ebcas, Ecleo, Elago, Enverga, Erice, Erigel, Ermita Buhain, Escudero, Espina, Espino, Estrella, Fariñas Ria, Fariñas Ruiz Cesar, Fernandez, Fernando, Fer Juliet, Fer Luis, Flores, Fong Juan, Fortun, Fortuno, Frasco, Fuentebella, Gaite, Garbin, Garcia, Jose Enrique, Garcia, Pablo Jan, Garcia, Vincent, Garin Janet, Garin Sharon, Gasataya, Gatchalian, Gato, Heron, Go Ed, Go Mark, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Carlo, Goroseta, Gico, Gullas, Guya, Jaresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera D, Hofer, Lushos, Javier, Jimenez, Ko Elisa, Ko Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon, Lara, Lazatin, Diachon, Legarda, Lim Kaichong, Lopez, Loyola, Losotan, Macapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Malapitan, Mangawang, Magundadato, Marcoleta, Mariano Hernandez, Mariño, Marquez, Martinez, Matba, Matugas, Mendoza, Momo, Natividad Nagaño, Nava, Nieto, Noel, Nograles Jericho, Nograles Juan Fidel, Nolasco, Núñez Malañaon, Juaminal Olivares, Ong Jose, Ong Ronnie, Ortega, Juan Dizon, Pacquiao Alberto, Pacquiao Rogelio, Padiernos, Paduano, Palma, Pancho, Panotes, Peña, Pichay, Pimentel, Pineda, Plaza, Puno, Kimbo, Radaza, Ramirez Sato, Ramos, Rimulya, Revilla, Reyes, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez, Roman, Romero, Romualdez, Ferdinand, Romualdez, Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Salimbangon, Salo, Sanchez, Sancopan, Santos Recto, Sarmento, Saulug, Sevillano, Chao, Silverio, Singson, Singson Mihan, Sinsuat, Swansing Estrelita, Swansing Horacio, Suarez Aleta, Suarez David, Suntay, Si Alvarado, Taduran, Talyado, Tambunting, Tan Alisa, Tan Angelina, Tan Shamir, Tan Shari, Tan Tambut, Tejada, Teves Arnulfo, Teves Jose, Tiangco, Tolentino, Torres Gomez, Tulfo, Tupas, Chutor, T. Alan, T. Diego, Umali Alfonso, Umali Maria Victoria, Unabia, Ungap, Uy Juliet, Uy Rolando, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso, Vergara, Villa, Villalfuerte, Villanueva, Brother Eddie, Villanueva Noel, Villar, Villaraz Suarez, Villarica, Violago, Yap Eric, Yap Victor, Yu, Zamora Ronaldo, Zamora Waikurat, Zarate, Zubiri.
With 192 voting the affirmative, 0 negatives, 0 abstention, House Bill 5509 is hereby approved on third reading. Congratulations. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up additional reference of business and request the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure on first reading. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Secretary General is directed to read.
Additional reference of business, committee report. Committee report number 137 of the Committee on Appropriations on House Bill number 5712.
The Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we take up House Bill number 5712 under Committee Report number 137 and request that the Secretary General be directed to read the title of the measure.
Is there any objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. The Secretary General is directed to read House Bill 5712.
5712.
House Bill number 5712, an act modifying the salary schedule for civilian and government personnel and authorizing the grant of additional benefits and for other purposes.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Chairman of the Appropriations, the Honorable Isidro Ungab of the 3rd District of Davao City, to sponsor for the said measure. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Is there an objection? The chair is none. The motion is approved. Honorable Isidro Ungab is hereby recognized.
Mr. Speaker, my esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my distinct honor and privilege to sponsor House Bill number 5712, titled An Act Modifying the Salary Schedule for Government Personnel and Authorizing the Grant of Additional Benefits and for Other Purposes, or the Salary Standardization Law of 2019, under Committee Report number 173. Consistent with the pronouncement of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte in his most recent State of the Nation address, the proposed salary adjustment will cover all civilian personnel, including teachers and nurses. The proposed bill took into consideration the results of the study on compensation and benefits in the public sector, which the Department of Budget and Management and the Governance Commission for GOCCs conducted together with a private consulting firm. Said study aimed to determine the competitiveness of government pay in relation to the private sector and develop the compensation strategy to bring government pay closer to market rates, thereby attract and retain competent and dedicated employees in the civil service. Under this bill, the proposed minimum basic salary or salary grade 1 will be raised from 11,068 to 13,000 to remain competitive with the minimum daily wage in the National Capital Region. The salaries of government personnel will be raised to a level closer to market rates, while giving priority to the rank and file consisting of sub-professional and professional categories. The overall weighted average increases upon full implementation in fiscal year 2023 will be 23.24%. For positions allocated to salary grades 11 to 13, the increases in salary will be, or for teachers 1, 2, and 3, the increase in salary will be 30.1%, 27.1%, and 24.1% respectively upon full implementation. As part of the incentives under the total compensation framework, the mid-year bonus equivalent to 1 month's salary as of May 15 of a given year shall be granted to those who have rendered at least 4 months of satisfactory service and are still in the service as of the same date, to be given at earlier than May 15 of every year. The proposed salary increase shall be implemented over a 4-year period, fiscal year 2020 to fiscal year 2023. The first tranche salary schedule shall be implemented beginning January 1, 2020. For fiscal year 2020, the amount of 34.2 billion is allocated in fiscal year 2020 General Appropriations Act under the MPBF or the Miscellaneous Personnel Benefits Fund. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, to interpolate our good sponsor, may we recognize the Honorable Franz Castro of the ACT Teachers. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Franz Castro is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ang kinatawang pong ito ay matagal na pong nag-advocate na sana magkaroon ng substantial at decenteng salary increase sa ating mga government employees, lalong-lalo na po sa kaguruan. So nakita natin dito, Mr. Speaker, sinabi po ng ating sponsor, consistent doon sa gusto po ni President Duterte na taasan yung sweldo ng mga teachers natin, or tama po, yung teachers natin, pero meron po siyang pangako sa mga teachers na kung hindi 30, more than 30,000 ang salary increase. Mr. Speaker, tanong ko lang po sa ating butihing sponsor, kasi po dito sa pinopropose na salary grade o salary scale para sa ating mga teachers. Ang teachers po, Mr. Speaker, ay binubuo ng, yung teacher 1 to teacher 3, ay binubuo po ng mayorya ng mga kaguruan sa ating departamento. Kung titignan po natin, Mr. Speaker, sa salary grade 11, step 1, sa susunod na taon, 22,316 sa salary grade 11. Sa second tranche, ang salary grade 11 po ay 23,877 ang salary grade 11. Sa third tranche po, Mr. Speaker, 25,439. At sa panguling tranche po, Mr. Speaker, ito po ay 27,000. Kung ikukumpara po natin, Mr. Speaker, sa salary po ng ating military and uniform personnel, at dahil nga po meron din pong desisyon ang Supreme Court kaugnay ng mga sweldo po ng nurses na magiging 30,000. So makikita natin, Mr. Speaker, na masyado pong kulelat, kumbaga, ang mga teachers natin sa 27,000 after 4 years. So pwede po bang malaman, Mr. Speaker, sa ating butihing sponsor, yung justification? Kasi pong inihiling natin para magkaroon ng tama pong decent at nakabubuhay na sweldo ay 30,000. So 4 na taon na nga, Mr. Speaker, from 2020 hanggang 2023, pagdating pa ng 2023 ay 27,000, kapos doon sa kahilingan ng mga kaguruan natin. So ano po yung justification dito, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, Yun pong sweldo po ng mga teachers from teachers 1, teachers 2, and teachers 3, which are allocated to salary grades 11, 12, and 13, the overall increase will be as follows. For teacher 1, which is salary grade 11, the increase is from 20,754 to 27,000 in 2023, or an increase of 30.1%. Sa teacher 2 po, the salary grade of 12, with salary grade of 12, yung sweldo for fiscal year 2019 is 22,938, and on fiscal year 2023, it will become 29,165, or an percentage increase of 27.1%. While for teacher 3, the teacher 3 is salary grade level 13 with the present rate of 25,232. By fiscal year 2023, magiging 31,320 pesos yung kanyang sweldo, or a percentage increase of 24.1%. For teacher 1 or salary grade 11, the overall increase in monthly salary is equivalent to 6,246 pesos per month, or an annual increase of 1,561 per month. Annual compensation will increase by 87,444. The resulting market position for the pay of teacher 1 will become 165% versus the private sector teachers. Compared to the position of the policeman or PO1 or patrolman, the teacher 1 position is 27,000 per month. Under SSL 5 in tranche 4, 27,000 per month plus yun pong 2,000 pesos na pera. No? Then, personal, yes. Then, patrolman salary, compared to the salary of patrolman or the PO1, is 29,668. Difference of 2,000 pesos lang sa basic, pero may pera yung teacher 1. Saka, Mr. Speaker, there is no distortion since the nature of duties and responsibilities of civilian personnel is very much different from those of that military and uniformed personnel. These jobs are therefore not comparable. So, yun po ang explanation, Mr. Speaker. And also, just to add, what is the market position of government pay? The current pay in government is 75% of market rates, or average of market on average based on the general industry rate. The per customized survey, teacher 1, the salary grade 11 is at 127% of market. Per customized survey, nurse 1 at salary grade 11 is at 135% of market rates. The proposed SSL 5 will bring government pay to 96% of market on average. The proposed SSL 5 again will bring teacher 1 to 165% of market on average. So, Mr. Speaker, yun pong ating SSL 5 is very much advantageous, not only to the entire government employees core, but also to the teachers, most especially, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, so muli na naman yung salary ng teacher ay kino-compare doon sa salary ng mga private school teachers. Pero alam naman po natin na yung salary ng mga private school teachers ay matagal nang dapat ay taas din at dapat ay at par din doon sa ating mga public school teachers. Kaya nga po kapag nagtataas ng sweldo sa mga sa mga public teachers, public school teachers, sinasabi laging naiiwan yung mga private. Dapat mai-level din ang mga private school teachers doon po sa salary ng mga public school teachers. Kasi ano po ba yung pinagbabatayan natin ng salary ng mga government employees at saka ng mga workers? Isa po sa mahalagang pagbatayan dapat, Mr. Speaker, ay yung cost of living. So according po doon sa mga study, according po sa mga study natin, including the Ibon Foundation and ng a family of 5 po ay dapat ay kumita ng 1,100 plus a day para po sa decenteng buhay at nakabubuhay na sweldo. Pero yung dito po, i-compare natin yung salary increase po ng mga government employees mula sa rank and file, salary grade 1, hanggang dito sa salary grade 24. So makikita natin, Mr. Speaker, na yung rate of salary increase po ng ating mga rank and file, kung ikukumpara po natin ay napakaliit. Meron po tayong graph ng comparison ng sweldo po ng ating mga teachers and government employees mula 2000 hanggang 2023 na hindi po talaga siya tumataas dun sa substantial. So yun po sana ang kahilingan natin, Mr. Speaker, ay taas ang salary based on the cost of living consumer price index.
Mr. Speaker, we believe that the salary rates of teachers as well as the other employees in government now is already well compensated. At saka yung cost of living factor has already been incorporated in coming up with the customized survey in the third with the study team na ginawa po. So, we believe that SSL 5 will bring more benefits, will bring more salaries to the teachers and the employees in general. At saka sa totoo lang, it's the government teachers that are having higher pay than the private sector. In fact, I used to meet my former teachers in my former alma mater where I graduated in a small private school in the province. Nauubos na yun mga teachers doon, lumilipat na sa public school, no? So I believe that I was able to talk to the sisters running the school, yung mga madre na nagpapatako doon sa school. Sabi nila, nahihirapan talaga silang mag-compete sa gobyerno because of the government pays right now. So that's the real situation po. Government workers, especially the teachers, are receiving very much higher than that of their counterpart in the private sector.
Ganon din po, Mr. Speaker, parang naulit lang po yung pagkukumpara doon sa ating mga private school teachers. So hindi naman po dapat na gawin itong maging basihan noong salary standard natin para sa ating mga government employees, especially the teachers. Kasi dapat nga, Mr. Speaker, ma-adjust din yung sweldo ng ating mga private school teachers. So tinatanong natin, Mr. Speaker, dahil sinasabi ng ating sponsor na yung DBM ay nag-go through a thorough study regarding this. At noong pong dinidiscuss po natin, Mr. Speaker, yung budget, sinasabi po ng DBM na sila po ay magbibigay ng study. At pwede po bang makakuha ang representasyong ito, Mr. Speaker, nung sinasabi na study kung bakit nag-come up ng ganitong salary scale ang DBM?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I asked our representatives from the DBM and they are willing to provide a copy of this study, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Mr. Speaker, pwede po ba in brief, pwede po bang ma-relate ng ating DBM through our sponsor kung ano yung study na ito at ano po yung pinagbatayan bukod po doon sa salary ng mga private school teachers?
The study conducted was compensation and benefits in the public sector. The study was conducted in order to determine, one, the competitiveness of government pay in relation to the private sector, and the compensation strategy to bring government pay closer to government rates. So there were data collected, comparison between the current government pay versus the private sector, and data collected on current government salaries versus market. So this study includes the different salary grade levels. So the compensation adjustment strategy says that the salaries of government personnel shall be raised to a level closer to market rates while giving priority to the rank and file, consisting of positions in the sub-professional and professional categories. The grant of the mid-year bonus equivalent to 1 month basic pay shall also be institutionalized as part of the incentives under the total compensation framework. This was already institutionalized under the administration of President Rodrigo Duterte, yung mid-year bonus natin, aside from the year-end bonus. And of course, there shall be no salary overlaps. Among the findings are what I was able to mention a while ago, that the current pay in government is at 70%, 75% of market on average, based on the general industry rates. But with the implementation of the proposed SSL5, the government pay, this will bring the government pay closer to 96%, or very close to the market on the average. So hopefully, kung ma-implement po yung SSL5, pag fully implemented na, malapit na po tayo sa standard po ng market o sa private sector.
Thank you po, Mr. Speaker. Katulad din po na kanina ng sinasabi natin, yung pong study ay based doon sa comparison between yung mga private sector and the public sector salaries. So tinatanong ko po, Mr. Speaker, na-consider po ba sa study yung cost of living at saka yung consumer price index? Kasi siyempre po ang lalabas naman dito ay yung purchasing power noong sweldo ng mga government employees at ng teachers. So yun po yung yun po yung magsusukat kung gaano ang mabibili ng sweldo ng isang government employees o ng teacher.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, yun pong cost of living has been included. This factor has already been incorporated in coming up with the customized survey. Very comprehensive po yung study na ginawa ng DBM po. Yung Commission Private Sector na gumawa ng study ng DBM on this compensation adjustment, Mr. Speaker.
Magkano po ba, Mr. Speaker, ang budget natin para sa salary increase ng SSL5?
If you remember, Mr. Speaker, yung natanong din po yan dito when we were deliberating the budget on the plenary, that's 31.1 billion. And dinagdagan po ng Senado ng 3 billion for the salaries po ng nurses. So total of 34.2 billion na po tayo ngayon.
Okay, so 31 billion. Kasama din po ba dito yung sa nurses?
Yes, lahat na po yun. Yung 31 plus 3, so 34.2 billion na ang allocation ngayon under sa GAA 2020, Mr. Speaker.
So meron tayong 34 billion.
34 billion.
Okay. So, thank you, Mr. Sponsor. So, ganun pa rin po, Mr. Speaker, ang stand ng kinatawang ito, kaugnay noong proposed House Bill 5712, na tingin po ng kinatawang ito mula sa salary grade 1 ng mga rank and file hanggang doon sa sinasabi nating Teacher 3 na kinoconsider natin mas pinakamababa yung percentage of increase mula nung salary standardization 4 and 3 ay napakaliit ng percentage of increase na kung tutuusin natin ay dapat ay nakasunod ito doon sa cost of living. Yun naman pong sinasabi nating dagdag na compensation like yung pera na 2,000. Lahat naman po meron ito including the military and uniformed personnel. So I still maintain, Mr. Speaker, na sana po ang maging starting salary ng ating mga Teacher 1, salary grade 1, ay maging 30,000 na nakalagay po sa ating bill at 16,000 po doon sa ating mga government employee salary grade 1 dahil para sumunod po ito doon sa at least man lang minimum pay para sa mga government employee salary grade 1. At syempre, in terms of professional, professional qualification, hindi po deserve, tingin ko po, Mr. Speaker, itong salary ng teacher para doon sa SSL 5. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, next to interpolate our good sponsor is the Honorable Ferdinand Gaite of Bayan Buna, and I request the gentleman be recognized. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ferdinand Gaite is hereby recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Speaker. Pahintulutan ba ng ating kagalang-galang na Congressman Sig Ungab na makapagtanong ng ilang clarificatory na mga questions regarding the proposed salary increase for government workers?
Yes, gladly, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po. Batay sa ating saligang batas, Article 13, Section 3, binibigyan ng pagpapahalaga talaga ang sinasabing social justice and human rights. At pahintulutan niyo po kung basahin yung yung Section 3 ng ating naturang provision na binibigyan ng pagpapahalaga sa ating mga manggagawa, labor. Ang sabi po rito sa second paragraph sa Section 3, the state shall guarantee the rights of workers, the right to self-organization, collective bargaining and negotiations, and peaceful concerted activities, including the right to strike, in accordance with law. Second sentence states that they shall be entitled, emphasis, to security of tenure, humane conditions of work, and a living wage, Your Honor. Dito, sa pag-unawa ng kinatawang ito po ay dinidirect yung state na bigyan ng nakabubuhay na sahod ang ating mga manggagawa. Does the proponent agree to that statement, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, I agree, Mr. Speaker, and that is incontrovertible. Yun po ang ating presidente. Hindi ko po makalimutan nung ako'y konsihal pa at siya'y mayor. Nung kami ay nagdi-discuss ng budget, sinasabi niya palagi sa akin, Sid, let us prepare a budget that will benefit the poor, that will help the poor because the rich can take care of themselves. Ganyan po ang ating presidente ngayon sa Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat po. At hindi po nagkakahiwalay tayo sa panindigang iyan sapagkat sa matagal na panahon bilang tagapangulo ng mga organisasyon at unyon ng mga government workers sa ilalim ng Confederation for Unity, Recognition and Advancement of Government Employees, yan po ang isa sa pinakamariin na kampanyang isinulong ng mga government workers. Bunga na nga ng pagtingin na itong probisyong ito ay hindi na isa sa katuparan ng gobyerno. Kung kaya dito sa panukala ngayon na inihahapag sa August body ng Kongreso, tinitignan po namin kung ano ang ginamit na batayan sa pinapanukala ngayong dagdag sa sahod sa ilalim ng House Bill 5712. nabanggit po ng ating unang nag-interpellate na merong daw ginawang pag-aaral ang Department of Budget and Management. At ang pagkaintindi ko, kumuha ng consultant ang DBM para gawin ang pag-aaral na ito. Una po, sino ho ba yung consultancy firm na ginamit ng DBM para lang sa kalaman ng ating kapulungan ito, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor?
The consultant, as per our DBM representative, is Willis Towers Watson. Willis Towers Watson. Willis Towers Watson.
Okay. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, baka pwedeng malaman kung ito rin ba yung ginamit na consultancy firm doon sa pagbubuo ng panukalang batas doon sa usapin sa pasahod nung nung SSL4 o yung tinatawag na Salary Standardization Law 4 na isinakatuparan noong taong 2016 hanggang 2019, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, it's the same firm, Your Honor, but the procedure is, it follows a procurement procedure conducted by the Governance Commission for GOCCs. So, the same firm won the bidding, Your Honor.
Siguro para sa transparency nila, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker, magkano nabot yung ating kontrata with Pricewaterhouse? Mr. Honor, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker.
Including the GOCC's study, Mr. Speaker, it's less than 50 million. Saka napanalo po yun through bidding, Mr. Speaker.
50 million po, tama po.
Less than 50 million.
Malaki-laking halaga kung titignan. Ngunit may obserbasyon ng kinatawang ito na sa laki ng ginastos natin para sa consultancy firm na alamin kung ano ang karapat-dapat na sahod ng mga manggagawa, pilit pa rin na ang argumento ay ginagamit yung quote-unquote market forces. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor?
Yes, again, the objective is to determine the competitiveness of the government pay in relation to the private sector, and the compensation strategy to bring government pay closer to market rates. Yun po ang strategy, Mr. Speaker.
Doon po ako may reservasyon sa paggamit nga ng market forces. Sapagkat mismo sa konstitusyon, kaya nga po nakalagay sa konteksto ng social justice, tungkulin ng state na hindi market forces, kundi paano titiyakin na sa ngalan ng panlipunang katarungan, hindi market ang determinant ng wage. Kung hindi, tulad ng ikuquote ko ulit sa saligang batas, they shall be entitled to security of tenure, humane conditions of work, and a living wage. Tanong ko lang, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, bakit hindi po living wage ang ginagamit na pamantayan? Bakit market forces? Alam po naman natin, sa isang lipunan tulad ng Pilipinas, ang sahod ay pawang napakababa at nagkakaroon ng spiraling down or yung tinatawag nilang race to the bottom ng usapin sa sahod. Sa halip na lumaki, pababa pa nga ng pababa. Bakit natin pilit na inihahambing ang sahod doon sa tinatawag ng market forces na pilit na inihahambing ang sahod sa pribado sektor at gayon din sa pampubliko sektor na ang sinasabi ng saligang batas, ang pamantayan ng comparison, living wage. Your Honor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, in a free market society, it's the market forces that determines the transactions of almost everyday living. So it is the measure, it is the standard being followed, not only in the various rates, industry standards, interest rates, foreign exchange rates, pati po sa salary, doon po tayo nagbabase sa market rates. Kasi po, we should be able to come up with rates that's comparable to the standard na binibigay po ng private sector, not only the private sector, but also the government. That's why the government is doing its best to be within the standard, within the market standard. Yun po ang ginagawa. Kaya nga, kung ma-implement po itong SSL 5 na ito, we will be very much closer already to the average standard po overall. So yun po, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po, kagalang-galang na sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Aware po ba ang ating kagalang-galang na sponsor kung ano yung bang tinatakda ngayon na living wage sa kasalukuyan? Pag-usapan muna natin kung ano yung existing na datos po na merong available, yung mga ahensya na may responsibilidad para tiyakin kung ano ba yung sinasabing nakabubuhay na sahod o living wage, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker.
Yun pong data nandito sa akin, yun yung current private sector minimum wage for NCR monthly is the basic wage with integrated cost of living allowance or COLA. It's 11,814. Again, it's 11,814. At saka yung ating salary grade 1 is under SSL 5 will be already 13,000 per month. So medyo mas pataas po yung salary grade 1 ng gobyerno ng under SSL 5 as compared to the basic wage dito po sa private sector na integrated cost of living allowance na 11,814. So mas mataas po ang nasa SSL 5, Mr. Speaker.
Your Honor, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ang katanungan ko po, ano po ang kailangang sahod na tanggapin ng isang manggagawang Pilipino para mapunuan niya ang kanyang mga batayang pangangailangan, pagkain ng kanyang pamilya, kasama siya, tahanan na uupahan o babayaran, kuryente, tubig, transportasyon, at iba pa, isama pa nga dapat ang gastusin sa edukasyon, pangkalusugan, at iba pa, para matustusan yung mga batayang kailangan para matawag ng sahod ay living wage o nakabubuhay na sahod, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Meron pong pinagbasihan na datos, yung data po na summary of current regional daily minimum wage rates per region. So ang dami po nito, NCR, Cordillera Administrative Region, from regions 1 to 12, then Caraga, then RMM, then the rates agriculture sector, then non-agriculture sector. And all these rates po ang pinagbabasihan. Kino-compare po ito sa present government rate. So ito po yung present government rate is higher than the basic wage, no? So yung proposed minimum wage, in fact, is 27% higher than the prescribed minimum wage rate in NCR. So ito po yung ating proposed SSL 5, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ang binabanggit po ata ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor ay yung minimum wage rates sa kasalukuyan. Ang inaalam po ng kinatawang ito, ano ba yung kailangan ng isang, magkano yung halaga na kailangan ng isang manggagawang Pilipino para matugunan yung kanyang mga batayang pangangailangan. Batay po sa saligang batas, ang nakasaad po living wage. However, this representative believes that the current wage structure in the private sector, yung binabanggit po nyo, sa Metro Manila, 537 pesos kada araw. Ang 537, hindi sapat para tugunan ang batayang pangangailangan kahit na sinabi pa kamakailan lamang ng Philippine Statistics Authority na yung poverty threshold level daw ay nasa bandang 11,000 kada buwan para sa isang pamilyang Pilipino may 5 kasapi. Ngunit ang term na ginamit nila dito, poverty threshold level. Ang sinusukat na po ngayon poverty ng PSA. Ang tanong ko, bakit hindi sinusukat yung living wage ay umabot ng 233% na increase? Dati po, ang sahod ng katumbas na salary grade 1, for example, ay nasa bandang 600 pesos lamang. Nung ipinatupad yung SSL 1 noong 1989, tumaas po ng 2,000 piso ang minimum na salary grade 1. 233% increase. At ito po, hindi binigay ng tranches. Binigay po ng one time, big time. Kung kaya't nung panahon na yon, malaki ang ngiti ng mga government workers. Bagamat hindi pa rin umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas ng sahod, kahit paano, ang sahod noon ay na-approximate yung living wage. As a matter of fact, based on our studies, it approximated about half of the living wage. At that time, according to various statistics from Ibon and others, 4,000 piso ang ang living wage o cost of living. Pero ang sahod nun, from 600, bunga ng malakas na kampanya ng mga government workers, naitaas nila sa 2,000 pesos. But without sacrifice, because many of our workers nun, lumabas sa lansangan para isulong sa Kongreso at Senado na maitaas ang kanilang sahod. 233% ang increase noong panahon na yon. Noong 1994, ito po yung tinatawag na SSL2 o yung Salary Standardization Law 2. Panahon po ng ating dating Pangulong Ramos, na kung saan ang sweldo nun, di naging 2,000 na, itinaas to 4,400 pesos ang minimum. Yung salary grade 1 step 1 ay itinaas sa 4,400. Kung ating kukomputin ang rate increase nun, 120% increase. 120% increase. Pero dito na po nauso yung tranches na increases. Ibig sabihin, hindi to one time, big time, kung hindi 4 installments. Ang mga kawani nun ay appreciative pa rin dahil kahit paano, 120% increase. So hindi masyadong masakit kahit maghintay pa sila ng 4 na taon. Noong SSL 3, pinatupad po ito nung panahon ng ating dating Pangulong Arroyo, Cabagal Arroyo. At dito po, maliit na lamang yung increase. So from 233%, bumaba ng 120% sa SSL 2. Nung SSL 3, roughly, mga 20% na lamang yung increase. 9,000 dati ang minimum wage, tinaas ng 11,068. So, merong increase naman, in fairness. Hindi ko naman natin maikakailan yan. Pero ngayon, I was trying to compute the increase of the 11,068 level today. Tapos by the end of the implementation of the law, magiging 13,000 yung salary grade 1 step 1. But this is a mere 17% increase. A mere 17% increase. At ang masakit yan, installment, in tranches. And before that can even be achieved, each and every government worker will have to wait 4 long years. 4 long years. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, aware po ba yung impact nitong salary increase na to? Na as it is, sa pagtansya po namin, kung nung 1989, 4,000 piso ang cost of living dahil sa inflasyon at pagtaas ng presyo ng mga bilihin, kuryente, tubig, pagkain, upa sa bahay at iba pa, ang tansya po ng iba't ibang grupo na researchers, mga economists, ang isang pamilyang Pilipinong may 5 katao, dapat more or less 30,000 pesos kada buwan ang sahod. Kahit itaas pa natin kung gayon, na ang sweldong dating 11,068, gagawing 13,000, pero after 4 years, tingin ba ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor, ito ba ay matatawag natin sincerely a living wage, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, yun pong SSL4 is 27% weighted average increase plus 8% increase in mid-year bonus. At saka yung SSL5 naman is 23.24% weighted average increase with prioritize yung rank and file. For salary grade 11, yung increase is 30.1%. Then aside from the salary increases, the government is also providing additional benefits such as the mid-year bonus for 1 month, the productivity enhancement incentive of 5,000, and the performance band bonus. Performance-based bonus, which is minimum of 50% of the monthly salary. So, yun po yung ating SSL5, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, salamat po sa information na yun. Pero ang tinatanong po ng kinatawang ito, kung umaabot ba talaga itong 13,000 na ito sa nakabubuhay na sahod? Kung yung kailangan para matustusan ang mga batayang pangangailangan. Ang sinasagot po ng ating kagalang-galang na Mr. Sponsor, yung increase. Pero hindi sinasagot kung ito ba ay masasabi ayon sa ating saligang batas na nakabubuhay na sahod. Hindi po sa pananaw ng kinatawang ito na ito ay living wage, kung hindi isang living wage. Sapagkat nakabaon sa utang ang maraming government workers ngayon, bunga ng liit ng sahod nila. Ang ginagawang katatawanan na lang ng ating ibang mga guro ay loan donors daw sila. Bakit loan donors? Loan dyan, loan dito, loan doon. Utang ng utang, GSIS man yan, cooperative, at iba pa. Pati mga private banks ay nagpapautang na para lang matustusan ng mga ordinaryong kawani yung kanilang mga batayang pangangailangan. Kaya po, hanggang ngayon, hindi ma-reconcile ng kinatawang ito kung paano nag-arrive itong mga binayaran na 50 million na consultancy fee ang isang kumpanya na nagsasabi na ang sahod na ito'y sasapat at hindi maisip ng kinatawang ito na kung paano matatawag na itong pinopropose na increase ay nakabubuhay na sahod. Paano po natin ma-justify ito sa ating mga maliliit na mga magwawalis, maliit na mga manggagawang Pilipino, ang ating mga guro, ang ating mga nurses, kung ang sahod na binibigay natin ay hindi pa umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Again, Mr. Speaker, yun pong pinaka-minimum na salary grade natin, which is salary grade 1, is 13,000 pesos. And we believe for a government worker, yun na po yung the best na may bigay natin, considering, of course, the availability of funds and considering, of course, yung study na ginawa. At saka po, 13,000 yung ating salary compared to private sector, which was ang 13 na. So yung atin pong salary grade, yun pong salary grade 1 is 111% higher than the private sector rates. At saka po yung ating datos po, yung data natin sa NEDA, yung poverty threshold level is unit 10,481 pesos per month in order to meet basic food and non-food needs of a family of 5. So more or less yung 13,000 pesos is reasonable po. At saka yung ating salary grades 1 to 16, no, salary grades 1 to 10 are tax exempt po. So, ang take-home pay ng ating mga yung between salary grades 1 to 10 is 100%.
Salamat po, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Uh, Ulitin ko po na hindi naniniwala ang kinatawang ito na ang pinopropose na increase ay aabot sa nakabubuhay na antas. Pawang napakababa nito at napag-iwanan na habang ang sahod ng iba pang mga nasa burokrasya ay tumaas. Pwede ho bang mapaalala tayo doon sa itinaas ng sahod ng ating mga kapatid na military and uniformed personnel noong 2018 at 2019 through House Joint Resolution number 1. Hindi ho ba, tama po ba Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, na yung ating mga kapatid na pulis at sundalo, members ng BJMP, Bureau of Fire Protection, at iba pa, tinaas from roughly almost a little under 15,000 pesos a month. Ito po yung private at ang ating police officer 1. Pero noong 2018, almost 30,000 pesos na ang sweldo ng ating mga kapatid na pulis at sundalo. Tinaas ito, hindi lang po tinaas, dinoble ang kanilang sweldo. Our 450,000 strong members of the MUP, military and uniformed personnel, enjoyed a hefty increase. Kung kaya nating gawin yan sa ating mga sundalo at pulis, hindi ba yung ating mga hard-working teachers, hard-working employees in the government, including employees here in the House, hindi po ba that they also deserve an increase befitting a government worker na nagtatrabaho, na nagpapakahirap, nagsasakripisyo, pero ang sahod ay hindi umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas? Kung kinaya natin sa ating military and uniformed personnel, bakit hindi natin kaya sa ating mga civilian employees, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
So, Mr. Speaker, iba po yung nature ng trabaho ng military and uniformed personnel. At saka, kukunti lang po sila, working 24/7, at saka the nature of their job is security-related, saka may risk talaga sa buhay nila compared to the positions in the national government. We have about 1.4 million or 1,395,000 workers in government that we would like to provide with this new salary scale under the SSL 5, Mr. Speaker.
Nabanggit niyo po, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, na tatrabaho sila 24/7. Mr. Speaker, di ba yung mga nurses and health workers din natin, ganun rin ang operations ng kanilang pagtatrabaho, 24/7. Practically, halos walang pahinga, napupuyat, minsan 24 or 36-hour shift na dire-diretso. At sila rin ay bahagi ng burokrasya. Hindi ba dapat sila rin ay bigyan ng kaukulang pagkilala sa kanilang kontribusyon sa pagbibigay ng serbisyo sa bayan? Ang ating mga teachers na tumutulong para i-educate ang ating mga mamamayan, ang ating mga estudyante, hindi ba dapat bigyan rin natin sila ng kaukulang pagbibigay ng pagpapahalaga, bunga ng kanilang kontribusyon sa nation building? Hindi ba dapat kahit yung ordinaryong magwawali sa lansangan na tinitiyak na maayos, malinis ang ating kapaligiran, hindi ba karapat dapat rin na tulad ng ating mga kapatid na sundalo at pulis ay binibigyan rin ng dobleng pagtaas ng sahod tulad ng ginawa natin sa ating members ng AFP at PNP, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
We agree to that, Mr. Speaker, na kung pwede lang, nabigyan po lahat ng ating workers ng sapat na take-home pay. At yun po namang sa ating nurses na mentioned earlier, may Magna Carta benefits na po sila. Meron din silang hazard pay na 25% of basic pay. May subsistence allowance, may laundry allowance, and may night shift differential. So, yun po ang sa nurses. So, may mga additional benefits na po natatanggap sila.
Maraming, maraming salamat po sa impormasyon na yun. Sapagkat totoo po na yung mga benefits na ito ay kahit paano yung makakatulong o makapagtawid sa ating mga manggagawa na lalo na yung kalagayang nilang, ang sahod nila ay hindi umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas. Sa totoo lang po, may isa pong concern ang kinatawang ito. Kung babasahin ko po ang panukalang batas, doon sa unang bahagi, may binabanggit pong prinsipyo sa pasahod ng ating mga manggagawa. At paintulutan niyo po kung basahin ang naturang provision sa usapin ng pasahod ng ating mga manggagawa. Hindi kompleto yung aking kopya, pero from memory, babanggitin ko na lang po. Ang isa pong prinsipyo na sinasabi sa pasahod, paulit-ulit, yung provision na kapag magbibigay ng pasahod, ang isang prinsipyo na gagamitin ay equal pay for work of equal value. Equal pay for work of equal value. Ano ho bang ibig sabihin nitong provision na to, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, para sa kalaman ng lahat?
Mr. Speaker, can I now proceed? The guiding principles for SSL 5 are as follows. All government personnel shall be paid just and equitable compensation in accordance with the principle of equal pay for work of equal value. Yun po yung nagiging guiding principle po ng SL 5. Saka differences in pay shall be based upon substantive differences in duties and responsibilities and the qualification requirements of positions. And so the compensation of all civilian government personnel shall generally be competitive with those in the private sector doing comparable work in order to attract, retain, and motivate a core of competent civil servants.
Salamat po. Nakita ko na po yung sa Section 2, Statement of Policy ng panukalang batas. Doon sa usapin ng principle of equal pay for work of equal value, please correct me if I'm wrong, kapag may isang posisyon na nasa loob ng gobyerno na pareho o kahalintulad ang job description, pareho ang job function, pareho relatively ang output required, at pareho ang salary grade. Tama po ba na sa interpretasyon ng kinatawang ito na kung pareho ang trabaho na nire-require sa isang manggagawa sa ibang ahensya ng gobyerno at may kahalintulad sa ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan, pag sinabing principle of equal pay for work of equal value, kung pareho ang trabahong nire-require sa kanya, pareho ang job function, pareho ang job description, relatively pareho ang output, pareho ang salary grade, therefore, pareho ang sahod. Tama po ba yan, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Wala po tayong disagreement yan. We agree on that po, Mr. Speaker.
Salamat po sa inyong confirmation. Pero, sa matagal na panahon, kahit nasa unang-unang bahagi yan, hindi lang po nitong pinapropose po natin ng ating kagalang-galang na sponsor sa ilalim ng House Bill 5712, kahit itong unang-unang SSL 1 pa ho, no, sa ilalim ng Republic Act 6758, nakasad rin po ito. Ngunit, unfortunately, hindi na isa sa katuparan. Bakit ko po nasasabi ito? Kung pupunta po tayo sa pasahod ng ating mga manggagawa sa mga local government units, may institutionalized discrimination po sa batas ng Salary Standardization Law. Dito po sa inyong panukalang batas, sa ilalim ng Section 10, na inulit lamang at kinopya sa mga nakaraang probisyon ng Salary Standardization Law, dito po nakasaad yung compensation adjustment for personnel of local government units. At dito po nakasaad yung binabanggit po na matagal ng kritisismo ng mga government workers sa mga LGUs at iba pang ahensya ng pamahalaan na hindi po totoo yung equal pay for work of equal value. Basahin po natin ang nakasaad na inulit lamang sa manakaraang sa batas ng Salary Standardization Law. Sa ating meron pong ginagamit na percentage of salary schedule at iba ang pasahod sa mga special cities, first class hanggang sixth class, provinces, cities, and or municipalities. At kung mapapansin natin, dito pumapaloob yung sinasabing diskriminasyon sa mga special cities, first-class provinces and cities. Swerte sila. Kasi kung ang income classification nila ay first class or special city, ang katumbas ng sahod nila ay 100% ng tinatanggap ng mga kawani sa national government agencies, government-owned and controlled corporations who fall under the Salary Standardization Law, and also our employees in state colleges and universities. However, sa pagbabasa po ng panukalang ito, inulit lamang yung paulit-ulit na discriminatory provision ng batas na ito, such that kung minalas-malas ka at nasa isang maliit na 6th-class municipality ka, hindi mo matatanggap yung sinasabing panukala ngayon na after 4 years, 13,000 na ang sweldo mo. Hindi. Kasi i-apply na only 65% of the amount. After 4 years, you will be only receiving the equivalent amount. Tanong, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, ano ho ba ang batayan kung bakit itong provision na ito ay paulit-ulit na nilalagay sa mga batas ng Salary Standardization Law at sa halip na kilalanin yung napakahalagang provision sa pagtatakda ng sahod na equal pay for work of equal value, within the law itself, bina-violate yung provision na ito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Ano ang rasyonal kung bakit inulit na naman ang provision na ito, Your Honor?
Actually po, yung pinaka-main difference ng national government at saka yung LGUs, yung capacity to pay po ng LGUs. In terms of position classification, same ang position. There are position na pareho ang national government and LGUs. Kung nagkakaiba sa salary rates because of the capacity of the LGUs to pay. Alam naman po natin na may mga LGUs na first class, second class, third class, fourth class ka. Meron ding special, no? Cities depending on their income. Or era or their locally generated income. So yun po ang pinaka-main na difference.
So, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, kahit na meron tayong provision na equal pay for work of equal value, bunga nung problema ng kakulangan ng pondo ng mga LGUs, magkakasya na lang po tayo na magbigay tayo ng sahod na mas mababa. Mababa na nga yung nasa national government agencies, hindi na nga umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas, papayagan pa rin natin, mas mababa pa in violation of that principle of equal pay for work of equal value. Tingin niyo po ba, yan po ay nasa konteksto na social justice, Your Honor, Mr. Speaker?
Actually po, yung mga limitation po ng LGU is on the Republic Act 7160, which provide that under the local government code, the LGU personal services shall not exceed 45% of their income or their revenues. So for first to third class LGUs and 55% for lower class LGUs. The PS limitation is proposed to be maintained to promote prudence in the allocation of LGU funds and ensure the availability of funds for LGU programs and projects. Yun po yung pinaka-limitation kasi under the local government code, hindi pwede maglampas ng 45% at saka 55% for lower class LGUs, hindi lalampas ng 55% for lower class LGUs at for 45% for first to third class LGUs. Yun po ang pinaka-limitation ng batas.
Salamat po, Mr. Sponsor. At aware po ang maraming local government units at employees dito sa binabanggit nyo po, dito sa Local Government Code of 1991 na nilalaman nga itong tinatawag nila PS cap or Personal Services Cap na para daw ma-restrict yung pondo ng kabuang gastusin ng local government, may hangganan lamang ang pwedeng i-allocate sa pasahod o yung tinatawag na PS o Personal Services. Tama po kayo, no? Pero ito pong batas na ito, mas nauna ito precedence. 1989 po lumabas ito, yung Local Government Code after several years, after 2 years. Pero po, in tandem po nag-work, not for, but against local government employees. Kasi liban po, doon sa provision na nabanggit, meron rin pong restriction doon sa nabanggit nyo pong Local Government Code. Kung kaya't ang kinatawang ito ay naniniwala na itong mga provision na ito ay dapat tanggalin sapagkat hindi ito consistent doon sa ating prinsipyo ng pasahod ay dapat una ay umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas at ikalawa, dapat ang sweldo as based do sa principles of wage setting, equal pay for work of equal value. Kung kaya't nami-miss itong opportunity na ito, kung ito yung panukalang ipapasa, sapagkat hindi natin mabibigyan ng hustisya o katarungan yung ating mga manggagawa. Sapagkat sa matagal na panahon, yun yung nais natin, na makorek yung imbalance, na yung maliliit na kawani ay dapat mabigyan ng nakabubuhay ng sahod. Unfortunately, the current wage schedule favors the higher level employees or officials. Sila yung pinakamalaking increases ng mga nakaraang salary standardization law. Although of course, we acknowledge and recognize na ngayon, mas maliit ang increases ng mga top officials, but still, kung from 11,068, magiging 13,000 ang salary grade 1, or more or less mga 2,000 peso increase, yung presidente ng Pilipinas, kulang-kulang 400,000 noon, ay ngayon gagawing 431,000, 30,000 peso increase. Malaki pa rin yun. Hindi yan babahingan ng isang maliit na government worker. And they would be pleased to receive such an increase. However, the increases are still relatively reserved for the high officials in government. Kaya po, bagamat mas maliit yung increase nila, unlike before na umaabot ng more than 300% increase, ngayon, bagamat mas maliit, hindi pa rin makatarungan sapagkat marami sa ating mga manggagawang sa gobyerno ay hindi pa rin yung kanilang tinatawag na body and soul, it cannot remain intact. Naghihiwalay yung body sa soul. Kasi nga po, hindi umaabot sa nakabubuhay na antas. Kaya po, yun po ang malaking reserbasyon ng kinatawang ito. Panghuli, pwede mo bang malaman kung ito po bang panukalang batas ay meron pong pagsasaprioridad para sa ating pagpapasa? Ito po ba ay hinirang bilang priority bill ng kapulungan ito sa pamamagitan ng pagtulak ng ating ehekutiba, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are in constant communications with the DBM, and DBM representatives are here. Yes, this is priority legislation, and anytime we will receive the certificate of urgency, considering that the Office of the President through DBM is asking from our committee a copy of the committee report. So pinadala na namin a few hours ago, pinadala na namin po yung committee report.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Doon sa mga nabanggit na mga punto, pumapayag ba ang kagalang-galang na sponsor na magkaroon ng mga pagbabago doon sa pinapanukala para tumugma doon sa mga kahingian ng mga manggagawa na tumaas ang sahod sa nakabubuhay na antas, na ang ating mga guro ay umabot sa mas malaki ang itaas ang sahod, kapantay ng ating mga kapatid na military and uniformed personnel, at gayon din, matanggal yung disbalanse ng ating mga local government units ay hindi mas mababa ang tinatanggap na pasahod. Para yung konsepto na national minimum wage na sahod ay isa na lamang sa buong gobyerno para pakinabangan ang mas karapat-dapat na sahod sa ating mga manggagawa. Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Yun pong sinasangguni nyo, yun yung concern na nasasabi nyo, was already taken into consideration, and this is the best, what we call fiscally feasible na pwede, and sustainable na pwede nating magawa through SSL5 po. Yun pong pinaka the best na alternative na pwedeng mangyayari po, itong ginagawa ngayon.
The gentleman from Bayan Muna, your time has elapsed, so
Opo,
I'm giving you time to wrap up.
Nagpapasamat kami doon sa kasagutan ng ating kagalang-galang na Mr. Sponsor, Congressman Ungab. Ngunit hindi ko nakita na ito yung best. We could do better. Yun lang po, Mr. Sponsor. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Carlos Zarate from Bayan Muna for his interpellation.
Representative Carlos Zarate is not hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the good sponsor yield to some interpellation?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, but I request 1 minute suspension, Mr. Speaker. A personal necessity po.
Majority Leader. Session suspended.
Yes,
Session resume. Majority Leader.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. This representation is now ready for question, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor. Kanina po nabanggit ninyo na ang isang pangunahing objective nitong ating panukalang batas sa kasalukuyan ay upang pagsalubungin, no? Ang nabanggit niyo rito sa key provisions in the increase, the proposed minimum basic salary grade 1 will be raised from 11,068 to 13,000 to remain competitive with the minimum daily wage in the National Capital Region. Tama po ba yung nabanggit ninyo?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, ibig hong palalabasin natin na hindi na sa kasalukuyan talagang hindi sapat yung pang-araw-araw na kinikita ng ordinaryong kawani ng pamahalaan, lalo kung halimbawa ikumpara natin dito kahit dito na lamang sa National Capital Region, kaya gusto nating pagsalubungin. Pero, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor, ang minimum wage sa National Capital Region ngayon ay humigit kumulang nasa 537 pesos na. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, 537. Pero nakapagtataka po, sabi natin, gusto nating habulin, no? Kahit naman lang yung minimum wage. Pero dito sa inyong panukalang batas, ang kasalukuyang salary grade 1 ng karaniwang kawani, siya ho ay kumikita ngayon ng 11,068. Or pang sa araw-araw ay kumikita lang siya ng 369 kada araw in concrete terms, no? Wag na ho natin pag-usapan yung porsyento, pero yung kinikita niya sa isang araw ay 369. Pero dito ho sa inyong panukala, sa first tranche, ang salary grade 1 ay magiging 11,551 na siya beginning January 1 of 2020. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
2020.
Salary grade 1, 2020, January 1 ay magiging 11,551.
Yes po, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, 11,551. O kung atin pong susumahin yon, kada araw, ang kanyang magiging sahod ay nasa 385 lamang kada araw. Tama po ba ang aking computation? Kung hahatiin ang 11,551 sa isang buwan, ay magiging 385 lang. So kung 385 po kada araw, Ginoong Sponsor, Ginoong Speaker, napakalayo pa rin ito doon sa sinasabi nating kahit na minimum wage na ng National Capital Region. Tama po ba, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Plus 11,551 plus 2,000, 13,500 divided by 23 days, 615.
Mr. Speaker, from our representatives from DBM, 11,551 plus 2,000 po na pera, no? Pera, so it's divided by 22 days is still 615, Mr. Speaker.
Ano po yung idadagdag? 2,000 na?
2,000 pera po ang tawag. Additional po sa mga workers natin. 11,068 yung basic salary. Next year is 11,551 plus 2,000 pera. Ano? Personal Economic Relief Assistance Allowance. May 2,000 po per month. So,
At ito pong pera ay napaloob po ba sa ating kasalukuyang panukalang batas?
Kasama na po siya ngayon.
Kasama ngayon. Kasama. It's an existing privilege. It's an existing benefit po sa mga empleyado. Yung pera.
At ang pera po, every salary grade ay magkaiba rin ang kanyang tinatanggap na personal relief allowance.
Flat rate, 2,000 pesos a month. Flat rate. All salary grades, 2,000.
So, ibig pong sabihin, idadagdag na, kahit na idadagdag mo yung 2,000, no? So, at any rate, no? Ang pinagbabasihan lang po natin ay dito ho sa panukalang salary grade, no? 11,551. Now, na magmumula by January 1, 2020. Kaya po, nabanggit ko yung kanina, kung ito ang pagbabasihan natin, dahil ito naman ang basic salary niya. No? Ang pag-uusapan po natin dito ay sahod. Of course, ang bawat empleyado, ang mga empleyado ng iba't ibang ahensya, kung may tinatanggap silang allowances, ay on top of the salary. Huwag ho nating pagsamahin. No? Ang pinag-uusapan ho natin dito, magkano ba ang sahod na tinatanggap ng bawat empleyado? At sa kasalukuyan, ang empleyado sa pribadong sektor, sa pribadong sektor, ang kanyang minimum wage sa National Capital Region ay 537. No? At dito ho sa ating panukalang batas, kung maipapasa ito by January 1, 2020, sa first tranche, ang salary grade 1 na empleyado ay tatanggap lamang ng 11,551 o tumaas siya ng 483 pesos sa kanyang kasalukuyang sahod. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, yun pong computation na binigay po sa atin ng DBM is sinama yung pera na 2,000, yun naman pong sa private sector. Ikasama din yun pong basic wage with COLA din po yun. At saka yung computation na binigay sa atin ng DBM is divided by 22 days pareho, yun yung number of working days na nagtatrabaho po yung kawani ng gobyerno at saka yung kawani ng private sector.
Okay po.
So,
Be that as it may, magkano po ang computation ng DBM pag sinama na natin yung pera sa first tranche ng salary grade 1 on January 1, 2020?
So kung isama na yung pera, it's 13,551 kasi 11,551 plus 2,000, so 13,551 divided by 22 days is 615, Mr. Speaker.
650?
615 pesos, Mr. Speaker.
615 pesos, okay. Kanina po, naitanong ng ating mga kasamahan, ano ang naging batayan ng pagbigay ng increase, no? Dahil kami po ay ang aming paniniwala, kung magbibigay tayo ng pagtaas ng sahod, dapat ang batayan natin ito ay ang tinatawag na family, ang living wage, no? Ang dapat magiging batayan natin. So ang next ko po na katanungan, bakit po 483 pesos ang naging increase ng salary grade 1 na empleyado ng pamahalaan for 2020. From the current 11,068 at magiging 11,551 siya. Ano po ang nagiging batayan nitong 483 na ito?
Actually, Your Honor, ito po yung sa study na lumabas na ginawa na, to have a sound basis for policy recommendation on further salary increases, the DBM together with the GOCC ito po yung target competitiveness of government pay in relation to the private sector and compensation strategy to bring government pay closer to market rates. So, Market rates. So kasama na po doon yung mga factors na na-mention po na kailangan ma-provide sa ating mga empleyado.
So lumalabas po ngayon, ang tingin natin sa ating mga manggagawa ay para silang makalakal, no? Para silang mga tinda sa merkado, no? Dahil market rates ang tinitingnan natin dito at hindi yung kinukonsidera natin ano ba yung nakabubuhay na sahod na dapat ibigay sa kanila ng pamahalaan. Ang pagtingin natin sa kanila ngayon ay para silang kalakal na pwedeng magtawaran ang bibili at ang magbabayad sa kanilang sa kalakal na ito dahil market rates ang tinitingnan natin. So, muli gusto ko hong bigyan ng pansin. Sa salary grade 1, ang ating hong magiging increase for average, no? from 2020, 2021, 2022 to 2023 ay average of 483. 483 pesos every month for every year. Para hong sinasabi natin na in 2020 and 2021 ay fixed, walang pagtaas ang presyo ng mga bilihin hanggang sa 2024. Ganun po ba ang ginawang pag-aaral ng pamahalaan dito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
First of all, Mr. Speaker, yun pong sinasabi na market rates does not look at that the workers, government workers are part of mga ngalakal. Considering that when we talk of market rates, that includes everything in the private sector as well in the government sector. All the benefits that's provided for are already considered, taken into consideration, because we are talking here of the standard practice in the industry, the standard practice in the private sector, the standard practice in the government sector. So, yun pong increase na annual increase in pesos, for example, in 2020, 2021, and 2022, is 483 pesos yung increase in pesos ng isang utility worker. Per day ito, no? Per day. 483 pesos per day, Mr. Speaker. Per month.
Per month.
Sorry, per month.
Kaya po, tama. 483 pesos per month sa 4 na taon. No? Ano siya? Pare-pareho ang increase niya. Kahit sabihin natin, utility worker lang naman yan. Wag ho nating, para pang sinasabi natin, ang utility worker, ang kanyang kakainin ay sa 2020 hanggang 2024 ay hindi nagmahal. Dahil ang binigay ho nating increase sa kanya ay mahuhulog lamang ho na 16 pesos per day in the next 4 years. No? Dahil pare-pareho, 483 pesos per day. 16 pesos per day. Kung meron ho silang 5 miyembro sa pamilya, ay papatak lang ho yan sa 3 pesos per day per person for a family of 5. So ano ho ang saan ho aabot itong 3 pesos per 3.22 pesos per day for a family of 5 in the next 4 years, no? Dahil ito ho ang ating ipinanukalang pag-increase ay by tranches for 4 years, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So, muli, gusto kong itanong, no? Ano ang pinagbasihan nito? Bakit ganito ang computation? What are the considerations? For example, in 2021, wala ho ba ang consideration dito na magkakaroon ng inflation? In 2022, dahil election na naman, ay magkakaroon ito ng inflationary effect. Bakit 483 pa rin ang gusto nating ibigay na increase sa isang utility worker, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker? And I'm citing this dahil ho ang sumunod na mga salary grades ay ganon din po ang pagtaas ng sahod, no? Lalong-lalo na sa ating mga ordinaryong kawani ng pamahalaan.
Mr. Speaker, ang explanation po na sa atin ng ating DBM, for salary grade 1, that is the example taken during this discussion, the increases of 483 pesos per month is equivalent to 4.36%, or the rate of salary increase is very much higher than the projected inflation rate. The government projected inflation rate based on our macroeconomic assumption is 2 to 4%. Average of 3.5, it's still higher considering the rate of increase is 4.36%, and the actual inflation rate now is less than 1%. So basically, Mr. Speaker, it has been taken into consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor.
Yung inflation rate taken into consideration po.
So if I may inquire, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, what is the projected inflation rate by 2020?
The macroeconomic projection for inflation, if we can remember when the budget was presented here in the plenary, was between 2 to 4%. So average of between 2 to 4, that's 3.5%, assuming average. The increase in salary as computed at 480 pesos is 4.36%. But if we notice, at present, the inflation rate is less than 1%. So it's still very much advantageous to the common worker, Mr. Speaker.
By 2023 po, during sa last tranche ng proposed SSL 5, what is the projected inflation rate?
Right now, we don't have the projected inflation rate yet for 2023 because what we have is 2020, which is 2 to 4%. Perhaps when we take up the budget next year, we are going to discuss what's the projection or what are the projections. But the overall trend right now, the global trend is that inflation rates are abnormally low. It's going down. Unlike during the 60s, the 70s, the inflation rates are very high. So the world leaders or the global leaders prefer lower inflation rates. So yun po ang nangyayari rin sa smaller economies. So doon yun po ang trend. So lower ang inflation rate sa buong mundo, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. That's true, no? Ang problema po nito, sabi natin, wala pa tayong projection up to 2023. But again, ipinako na natin no, na ang inyong magiging increase hanggang 2023 ay hanggang 483 pesos lang kayo. At tama din naman po kayo. As it is now, mababa ang inflation rate. But remember, there was a time, for example, last year, that we have a headline inflation rate of almost 7%. So, ganun po ka ang realidad. Ano? Kaya, hindi ho natin pwede... Ito ang masama ngayon dahil by tranches lang, maliit na nga ho ang ating sahod na idadagdag sa ating mga manggagawa at mga kawani ng pamahalaan ay tinilad-tilad pa natin sa 4 na taon. No? May I inquire, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, for 2020, magkano po uli ang ating projected or nakalaan na pondo para mapunduhan itong increases, no? From salary grade 1 up to salary grade 23 for the first tranche of salary grade 1 to salary grade 33 for 2020.
For 2020, Mr. Speaker, the GAA allocation under MPBF is 34.2 billion, Mr. Speaker. That's for step 1.
34 billion.
34 billion. It's originally 31 when the budget was passed here. The Senate increased it by 3 billion, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So we have 34 billion para mapunduhan itong proposed increases na ito, no? From salary grade 1 to salary grade 23, from step 1 up to step 8. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Step 1 to step 3. Salary grade 1 to salary grade 33, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Salary 1 to salary
33.
grade 33.
Okay.
Yan po.
Now, my next question, what about second tranche on January 1, 2021? What is the projected budget for the implementation of the second tranche?
For 2021, the projection is 32.43, Mr. Speaker. Then 2022, the projected, for tranche 3, projected increases is to be included in the MPBF is 32.43 billion. And for the tranche 4 in 2023 is 32.43 billion, Mr. Speaker. This projection did not, of course, include the inclusion or the addition made by the Senate of 3 billion in the 2020 budget, Mr. Speaker.
So fourth tranche is 32.43.
32.43.
No, the same as the third tranche.
Third tranche, yes, Mr. Speaker, the same.
And okay. So itong 32 point, sabi niyo ho ngayon ay 34 dahil may 3 billion na sinama ang Senate. By the way, para ho saan yung dagdag na 3 billion, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
During the deliberations of the budget at the Senate, the information we got was that it was intended for the increases of the nurses, pay for the nurses, Mr. Speaker.
Because of the Supreme Court decision.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
So, but anyway. So kung 34 billion na ang sa ating first tranche, bakit pagdating ho sa second tranche ay magiging 32 billion na lamang ito? Ibig ho bang sabihin yung increase na ibigay natin sa mga nurses ay mawawala na siya on the second year of the implementation of this salary grade number, salary standards, SSL 5, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Mr. Speaker, itong figures na sinabi ko a while ago are the figures that were prepared during the study. So because napasok na yun because of the ruling yung sa Senate na additional 3 billion, most likely next year, idadagdag na rin yun yung agency budget as
I see.
As presented in 2020, Mr. Speaker.
I see. Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So ibig pong sabihin, ito hong nakalagay sa atin dito, sa panukalang SSL 5, kung gugustuhin natin, ay pwede nating sa second year na implementation, no? Ay pwede nating magbigay ng dagdag sa ating mga kawani, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. Other than yung average na kinumpute natin, halimbawa sa salary grade number 1, average 483 from first tranche, second tranche, third tranche, and fourth tranche. Pwede palang magdagdag sa second year. Pwede palang magdagdag sa third year. Depende kung gustuhin natin. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Actually, Mr. Speaker, it was based on a 4-year projection study. But of course, we do not know what will happen next year during the preparation of the budget and during the budget hearings, kung meron mga changes or may mga i-adapt yung ating Pangulo sa kanyang mga plano, especially during his last 2 SONA. So, yun po, Mr. Speaker. But yung aking present na figures are based on the projected figures based on the study prepared by the DBM and the private group that made the study, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. By the way, itong 34 billion po na ito for 2020 ay may pondo na ito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Nandyan po. Hindi po nagalaw ito.
May tanong ko lang po, nabanggit ninyo kanina na kaya naman hindi pwedeng pagpantayin ang sahod ng mga unipormadong kawani kumpara sa ibang mga kawani ng pamahalaan dahil magkaiba po ang kanilang gawain. Tama po ba na justification yon, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, meron talaga pong distinction sa compensation ng civilian versus the military and uniformed personnel. Of course, while most of the above-mentioned principles apply to both civilian and MUP personnel, the distinct tenet for civilian compensation is its comparability with prevailing rates in the private sector. This is adopted in order to attract and retain competent and committed civil servants in as much as government competes with private entities for skills and talent. On the other hand, the principles of comparability with the private sector is not applicable to the MUP since military and police services are the exclusive domain of government.
Thank you, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So, para lang po sa ating kaalaman, ibig niyo pong sabihin nung ipinatupad ang increase sa mga unipormadong kawani sa Joint Resolution number 1 para sa militar at sa pulis, no, na halos dumoble ang kanilang, hindi na lang talaga tinaasan, dinoble ang kanilang sahod. Yun po, halimbawa sa DND, yun po ay applicable lamang sa Army, sa uniform personnel, but not the civilian personnel of DND. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Okay. Dito naman po sa PNP, ang PNP is a civilian force. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor?
Supposedly civilian, yes, civilian, but they are also considered uniform personnel.
Uniform personnel. So ang ginawa po nung Joint Resolution number 1, ang tinaasan ay yung nagbibitbit lang ng armas. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker? At yung mga civilian, yung mga clerical, gumagawa ng clerical work sa PNP, sa BJMP, at sa iba pang uniform branches, ay hindi ho sila nagkaroon ng dobleng sweldo. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Ayun lang pong military and uniform personnel, yun po yung nabigyan ng salary increases sa Joint Resolution number 1, Mr. Speaker.
So ibig pong sabihin, magkakaroon ng sitwasyon ngayon, halimbawa dito sa PNP, no, na may mga personnel sila na ang trabaho ay clerical. So dito pa aasa ang mga personnel na yon sa SSL 5 ng pagtaas ng kailang sahod. Tama po ba yun, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, yung mga non-uniform personnel po na nagtatrabaho sa AFP at sa PNP, dito kasama po sila as civilian employees. Kasama po sila sa SSL 5, SSL 4.
Okay. Salamat po, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker. So, ang lumalabas po ngayon, gumagawa tayo ng dalawang kategorya ng mga empleyado kahit na sa isang ahensya. Halimbawa, sa ahensya ng DND, merong may bitbit na armas, doble ang sweldo nila. Pero yung mga parehong kawani na nasa loob naman ng DND, dahil wala silang bitbit na armas, ay aasa sila dito sa kakarampot na dagdag sahod na ibibigay ng SSL 5. Ganon din ang mangyayari sa PNP. Hindi ho ba ito ay violative of the Equal Protection Clause ng ating Constitution, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker?
Yun pong pinaka-distinction is that the military and uniform personnel may be required to work longer hours or are on call anytime and are expected to be assigned in other locations from time to time. In contrast, civilian employees have defined working hours and designated work stations. Yun po ang pinakamalaking diferensya. Due to the factors and considering the differences in the nature of duties and conditions of work, comparison of compensation between civilian and MUP personnel is rendered difficult. Consequently, the distortion in their pay structure is difficult to establish. Yun po ang malaking diferensya kasi kahit saan po ina-assign yung ating military and uniform personnel.
And they, sabi po ninyo, anytime they can be transferred, 24/7, they are working. I'll cite an example again. Ito pong ospital ng militar, Viluna Hospital. May mga nurses po dyan, may mga doktor. They are civilians, but they have also ranks. Ang doktor, ang equivalent niya na rank, I think it's colonel. So, but he is a civilian, nagkaroon lang na siya ay doktor, binigyan siya ng ranggo. Saan po siya aasa ng sweldo? Dito sa SSL 5 o doon sa Joint Resolution number 1?
Yung military doctors and nurses, Mr. Speaker, are basically members of the AFP. And dinadala po sila kahit sa taga Viluna because about last year or the other year, I attended a project in my district where nagpadala ang sundalo ng mga doctors. And na-meet ko yung isa kong kakilala na doktor galing sa Viluna who was a classmate of mine in the past. So sabi ko, nandito ka. So pinadala daw sila ng AFP na magpunta doon sa distrito ko. So anytime, pinupull out din sila. Para din silang sundalo, yung mga doktor at nurses sa Viluna, Mr. Speaker.
Tama po. Para rin po mga doktor at nurses natin sa mga pampublikong ospital. Na dahil sila ay mga doktor ng mga pampublikong ospital kung saan merong halimbawa pangangailangan sa kanila. Halimbawa, ngayon, meron tayong mga sakuna sa Mindanao. No? Itong mga pampublikong doktor at ospital, they can at any time also be required to render services. Ang pinupoint out ko lang ho dito, Mr. Sponsor, Mr. Speaker, gumagawa ho tayo ng dalawang kategorya ng kawani. No? Yung isang kategorya ng kawani, dahil sila ay may bitbit na armas, doble ang increase nila. No? Ang isang patrolman at ang isang private na dati kumikita ng 16,000, the average, 30,000 lang kayo ng kanyang minimum na sinasahod. No? Pero ang isang guro, bigyan lang natin ng magkano lang na increase, no? Sa 4 na taon. At ang sa uniform personnel is not even in tranches. Automatic, binigyan sila ng dobling pagtaas ng sahod. So, yun po ang gusto nating pinupunto rito. Pangalawa, yun po usapin ng kukulangin ng pondo. Napakarami kasi ng ibang kawani. Halimbawa, ang mga non-uniform personnel, ang banggit nyo kanina, ay nasa 1.3 million personnel. No? But, alam ho natin sa taon-taon na pagdidebate natin ng budget dito, kung pondo lang ho talaga ang pangangailangan, ay pwedeng mahanapan ng pondo yan. Just like you mentioned earlier, na nagdagdag ng 3 bilyon para matugunan yung pangangailangan ng ating nurses. No? For example, sa 2019, ito ay isang trend talaga ngayon na palaki ng palaki. Ang intelligence and confidential funds ng pamahalaan, no? Ng Office of the President, for example, umabot na ng 7 billion yan. No? And several other items, no, na tingin ko, tingin ng kinatawang ito, ay pwedeng pagkukunan natin ng pondo para matugunan natin ang matagal ng panawagan ng ating mga kawani sa pamahalaan. Napaka-delayed na, no, ng panawagan na itaas ang kanilang sahod. But as always, kung meron tayong salary standardization law na pinapasa, no, para magpapasalamat pa sila na binibigyan natin sila ng mumo, pittance, scraps, 483 for a salary grade 1, 483 pesos sa isang buwan, or 16 pesos a day. 16 pesos a day ang idagdag na sahod natin. Ano ho maaabot nitong 16 pesos a day? At uulitin ko, kung meron silang 5 miyembro sa isang pamilya, 3 pesos per person a day. Yun lang yung equivalent ng increase na yun. Kaya sana po, bilang pagtatapos, ito po ang gusto naming pinupunto. No? Taliwas ito doon sa mga batayang prinsipyo na sinasabi natin bakit tayo nagpapasa ng batas. No? Principle of equal pay for work of equal value. And gusto nating maabot yung sahod na nakabubuhay para sa ating mga mamamayan. So, muli po, nire-rehistro natin ang ating pagpuna dito sa panukalang batas na ito na hindi kapos ito sa hinihingi ng ating mga kawani, lalong-lalo na ng mga ordinaryong kawani ng pamahalaan. Wag na ho nating tingnan yung mga nasa itaas, no? Dahil napakataas na ho ng sahod nila. Pero yung mga ordinaryong kawani ng ating pamahalaan, dapat ho bigyan natin ng pansin dahil totoo sila nga ang nakakarami, pero sila po ang bumubuhay sa burokrasyang ito, no? Ng ating mga ordinaryong kawani ng pamahalaan. With that, I'll end my interpellation. Maraming salamat, Mr. Sponsor. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Minority Leader Bienvenido Abante of the 6th District of Manila for his interpellation. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
The House Minority Leader, Representative Benny Abante, is now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Would the sponsor of the bill yield to some clarificatory questions?
Yes, gladly, Mr. Speaker.
It says here, Mr. Speaker, in Section 7, the modified salary schedule for civilian personnel to to be implemented in 4 tranches. So, as I understand this, Mr. Speaker, it will start. The first tranche will be implemented if this bill will become a law by January of 2020, no?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. It will be
Then-
implemented January 1st, 2020.
Then every year thereafter, no?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Oo.
The next 4 years.
Okay. Now, you said there's already a budget of 34 billion that is put in our budget. You think that's enough, Mr. Speaker, sponsor?
Sufficient, Mr. Speaker.
It is sufficient.
Of course, the executive department can augment if they would want to, Mr. Speaker.
And there will be a continuing appropriations thereafter,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker. Okay. I would like to be enlightened, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, on the salary grade and the step 1, step 2. What's the difference? Because what I know is the salary grade, when you get promoted to salary grade 1, then 2, then 3. How about the step 1, step 2 until step 8?
Pwede po length of service every 3 years. So step 1 po yung 4. Pag meritorious performance po, pag dalawang outstanding, 2 steps. Isang outstanding, isang PS, 1 step.
Yes, actually, yung step salary grade from salary grade 1 to 33, yun po yung classification ng mga salary grade sa mga empleyado. Yung step 1, step 2, yung step 1 yung length of service, Mr. Speaker. Then yung step 2 are yung step 1, step increment, 1 step for every 3 years po, ang ibig sabihin.
1 step for
1 step for every 3 years. Yun yung...
Every 3 years.
For every 3 years.
So therefore, halimbawa po itong salary grade 1, step 1 is 11,555. So after 3 years, automatic 11,647 na.
Yes, Mr.
Ganun ba yun?
Yes, ganun po, Mr. Speaker.
Di ba medyo mababa? You know,
Yun po yung...
akala ko every year magiging ang step niyan.
Bale, yung computation po, actually, yung pinaka mababa, which is supposedly the salary grade 1, is 11,551. Yung magiging step 2 increase niya is magiging 11,647. Yung step 3 increase is 11,745.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and so on, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, after step 1 to go to step 2 is after 3 years, correct?
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
Then 3 years thereafter, no? Okay. Nako, napakahabang panahon yata. Napakahabang panahon niya, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor. Pag-uusapan natin yung step 8, hanggang makarating po ng 12,244, that would comprise 8 times 3, no? 8 times 3. Yan ang pinag-uusapan po namin kanina eh. So, kung inyong makikita, pagdating po sa step 8, that would be 8 times 3, which would be 24 years, no? 24 years. From step 1, after 24 years, saka lamang siya magiging 12,244. Am I right? It would be the right computation, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor.
Ito po kasi mag-progress ka from 1 step to another, 3 years of continuous service. Pero sir, every year naman, mag-increase pa rin naman po yung sweldo mo po, sir.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, every year there is really an increase. Like for example, yung pinakamababang salary na sa utility worker na salary grade 1 na at present sa 2019 is 11,068.
Oo.
Magiging 13,000 po siya sa 2023. So in 2020 maging 11,551. 12,034 sa 2021, 2022 maging 12,517, at saka sa 2023 magiging 13,000 to make them more competitive with the private sector, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, I'm just following your previous statement, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, because as I can see it, to be able to get even less than 1,000, no? Basing it on the steps, less than 1,000 would constitute about 24 years, no? Mukhang sa akin, mukhang napakababa niya. Unless otherwise, of course, ma-promote sila from salary grade 1 to salary grade 2 and 3. Doon lamang siguro tataas, no? But if they stay in salary grade 1, they would have an increase every 3 years. That would be 24 years. Siguro po napakababa. Sana there's a way na pwede pa nating itong baguhin, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Sponsor.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, yung sweldo naman po every year ay nag-i-increase talaga. They are all included in the SSL. Umakyat po sila bawat taon. At saka yung possibility na mapopromote or higher rates, that's possible din po sa policy ng particular office ng isang empleyado, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I have to admit that comparing this to the private sector, the private sector would have a lower income bracket, no, than the public sector. And I do believe that the basis of a growing economy is when we are able to take care of our employees, no? That would be one of the basis. But with this, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, I just would like to make everything clear here. Although I'd like to make a manifestation na siguro po mababa po pa rin to, no, as far as the living conditions of our people is concerned. But of course, whatever manifestations we have, hopefully that the Executive Department is listening, and that more so, after a year, ay hindi lalampas naman ng mga ilang taon, we're going to have an improvement of the salary standardization law. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity to clarify some of these points. And I don't have any more questions, only that I do not find my name as part of the author of this bill. So I would like to make a manifestation, Mr. Speaker, Your Honor, to be one of the authors of this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to suspend session.
Session suspended.
Magre-request ka na yun. Anong gabi? Pwede? Diretso ka na.
Session resumed.
Mr. Speaker, there being no other members who wishes to interpolate on this measure, I move that we close the period of sponsorship and debate.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Gabi Bordado for a small manifestation. So move, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Gabi Bordado is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wish to make a very short manifestation. I filed House Bill 1977, increasing the salaries of teaching and non-teaching personnel in the government service. But this was not reflected in the list of bills being tackled right now. So, Mr. Speaker, I am requesting that I be included as one of the co-authors of the bill.
Yes, accepted, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
We join the author, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of amendments.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, there being no committee amendments, I move that we close the period of committee amendments.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we open the period of personal amendments.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, to introduce personal amendments, I move that we recognize the Honorable Juni Kua of the Lone District of Quirino.
Honorable Juni Kua is hereby recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. May I propose the following amendments to House Bill 5712. On page 4, which is about the Fortrans, may I propose that we delete the figures found in step on salary grade 9, page 4, sorry. On page 4, on first trans rather, sorry. May I propose that the figures found in salary grade 9 be changed to the following figures. Salary grade 9, step 1, instead of 18,763, it now reads 18,784. And step 2 now should read 18,941. And step 3 shall now read 19,100. And step 4 shall now read 19,259. Step 5 shall now read 19,420. Step 6, 19,582. And step 7, 19,746. And step 8, 19,911.
Amendment accepted, Mr. Speaker.
We join the author, Mr. Speaker, in accepting the amendments.
So,
Any objection? Go ahead. Representative Kua.
okay, so may I now propose another amendment on page 5, second tranche. Again, on the same salary grade 9, may I propose that for step 1, we change the figure to 19,593. For step 2, 19,757. For step 3, 19,922. Step 4, 20,089. Step 5, 20,257. Step 6, 20,426. For step 7, 20,597. And for step 8, 20,769.
Accepted, Your Honor.
We join the author, Mr. Speaker, in accepting the amendments.
Amendment is carried.
Another amendment is proposed for page 6, third tranche. I would like to propose that the figures found on pages referring to salary grade now to read as follows. For step 1, 20,402. Step 3, 20,572. For step 2. Step 3, 20,745. For step 4, 20,918. For step 5, 21,093. For step 6, 21,269. And for step 7, 21,447. And for step 8, 21,626.
Amendment accepted, Mr. Speaker.
We join the author in accepting the amendments, Mr. Speaker.
Amendment is carried.
Last proposal, last amendment on page 4, on page 7 rather, on page 7, fourth tranche, similarly, salary grade 9, the figures found there shall be deleted and to read as follows. For step 1, 21,211. For step 2, 21,388. For step 3, 21,567. For step 4, 21,747. For step 5, 21,929. For step 6, 22,112. And for step 7, 22,297. And finally, step 8, 22,483.
Amendment accepted, Mr. Speaker.
We join the author, Mr. Speaker, and accept the amendments.
Amendment is carried.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
Mr.
Majority
Speaker,
Leader.
there being no other individual amendments, I move that we close the period of individual amendments.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve on second reading House Bill number 5712. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
All those who are in favor say aye. Aye. All those who are not say nay. The ayes have it. The said House Bill is approved in second reading. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we suspend session until 3 o'clock, December 17, 2019. So moved, Mr. Speaker.
Session is suspended until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
Thank you.
December 17.
Congratulations. Doble